Robert L. Johnson was born in Mississippi in 1946 and grew up in a small town where segregation was the norm. He went on to study at the University of Illinois and then earned a master's degree from Princeton University. In 1980, Johnson founded Black Entertainment Television with a $500,000 loan. It was the first television network aimed at African American audiences, and it quickly became a huge success.
Let me ask you a question, OG Bob. Do you think money could change a system, though? Because we're trying to dismantle this system of white supremacy, and I want reparations for slavery as well. But would it be better served going towards like education, healthcare, housing, or loans and grants for small businesses, or should everyone just get a lump sum of money?
Hey, guy, let me ask you a question. If you had all the money that you want.
The question I have is, Warren, what is one tip? So you're talking to people that are 21, 22, just graduating school. What is one tip that you can give them in any realm of life?
It's very simple. Invest in yourself. And the one easy way to become worth 50%.
Have you ever heard of Mo Ibrahim? He's a Sudanese-British entrepreneur who's been on a journey to success that will inspire you to never give up. Mo started his career as an engineer, but his passion for entrepreneurship led him to start Celtel, a mobile phone company in Africa. Mo faced many challenges in the early days of Celtel, but his determination to provide affordable mobile services to African countries kept him going. Eventually, Celtel became a huge success, and Mo...
I grew up and did my schooling in Alexandria, Egypt. That's why I love the Mediterranean. I mean, the smell of the sea is amazing. Normal childhood in a third world country. We lived modestly, and I was one of 5.
He's Sudanese. It's a very ancient people, very dignified. But actually, when he takes the boxing gloves off, he's very warm.
I had a very happy childhood. I recall also fondly my late mother, who was very adamant that we focus in education. She has this obsession with education as the most important thing, and it is one way out of poverty. I loved science, and I wanted to be a scientist. I had no plans at all or idea that I'm gonna end up being a businessman. I don't know, because of my social background, we always suspect businessmen. I mean, we assume businessmen are crooks. We respect professions, you know. You need to be a doctor, engineer to earn honest money.
He's one man all the way through in many ways, you know. My dad he's a mathematician and a scientist, really, at his core.
And he'll always find a solution, a practical solution to a problem.
I ended up being an accidental businessman. So this is not by choice, actually. I was fascinated by the concept of mobile communication and mobility.
They are more convenient than regular telephones, but...
This strange propagation of radio waves going around the streets and canyons, and I saw that as an interesting challenge, and that's what I decided to do.
And it's the moment where the world is going to go from landlines to wireless phones. And he is at the right moment, in the right spot for this dramatic transformation.
British Telecom got a license from the government to develop a mobile network. So they asked me to join them as technical director.
Whenever you buy a stock, let's say you're buying General Motors, 1.4 billion shares out. We'll say the stock's 40, it's a little below that. You should be able to take out a one-page sheet of paper and say, I am buying the General Motors company at $56 billion because. And if you can't answer that question, if you can't write that out, then you'll go on to something else. And if you're buying Berkshire, you have to say, I am.
Money, glamour, fame, and fraud. This is the story of how Africa's richest woman went from being worth $3.5 billion to nothing.
If you had asked me in 2013 when we first published that she was, worth $3 billion and would she be off the list within a decade. I don't think I would have guessed that. This definitely was kind of a textbook case of how to loot a country. So Angola was a long-time Portuguese colony, and then it went into civil war for 27 years after it gained its independence. And the civil war ended in 2002. And so it was kind of, this very, a country full of strife and also a very oil-rich country. So there was money flowing in from all the oil exports. Some of the money made its way into the pockets of people high up in the government. My father was the president of Angola for almost 40 years. And so, his word was law, essentially, right? But there was a new mobile phone company starting in 2000, and lo and behold, Isabel dos Santos has 25% stake in this new mobile phone network, right?
While he ran the poverty-stricken but oil-rich country, Isabel garnered significant stakes in Angola's strategic industries: banking, cement, diamonds, and telecom, making her the most influential business person in her homeland.
She first came onto the scene when Forbes started doing this list of Africa's richest people in 2011. And I connected with a very brave investigative journalist in Angola, Rafael Marques de Moraes, who, working with Forbes, we were able to publish in 2013 a whole expose of how she got to be so wealthy. And Rafael had gotten the documentation showing that she got this stake in the mobile phone company, that she had the stake in the diamond company, that she had, the cement, how she got these stakes and all these companies. So we published this in 2013, and Forbes said, this is the richest woman in Africa.
When Forbes outed her as a billionaire that year, the government spread the news as a matter of national pride.
Have you ever heard of Folarancho Alakija? No? Well, let me tell you about this incredible woman and her journey to success. Folarancho Alakija was born in 1951 in Nigeria. She started her career as a secretary and worked her way up the corporate ladder. In 1974, she founded her own fashion label, Supreme Stitches, which became a household name. Folarancho was soon known as the Queen of Nigerian fashion. But she was not content with just one.
You will have to make huge sacrifices. Never ever you give up. Mm-hmm. You try once, you fall flat on your face, get up again. Mm-hmm. So if you don't prepare, if you prepare, you prosper. Yes. So you can prepare to prosper or prepare to fail. Okay.
Hello, African Risers. Welcome to the #1 platform for celebrating and cultivating African excellence. On today's episode, we learn from one of Africa's wealthiest women, Mrs. Folarancho Alakija. She has an estimated net worth of over $2 billion, and this is her top 10 tips on how to achieve success. Number 1, know your purpose in life.
It's true. Because when we find out what our purpose in life is, that will determine our destiny. And we have to walk and work towards our destiny. We have to be hard workers. We have to be persistent people. That's right. We have to be able to persevere. That's right. We have to know that it's only those who work hard. That's right. That can achieve their aims and their purposes. Life. That's right. When you're looking for a mentor, you need to have identified what you want to achieve in life. And then go and look for those who have gotten there, seen it, done it, and excelled in it. That's right. That way, you can learn from them. That's right. And make sure that you hold on to them. Yes. Because you find that anybody that you approach as a youth, and you approach someone who has already done everything that you want to achieve, and you speak to them, usually they're always very willing. That's right. They always feel very honored. And they will do their best. That's right. To help. They usually don't leave you halfway there. Yes. They hold your hand and they take you all the way. Yeah. Because they want to be able to say at the end of the day that they were able to help somebody in life. That's right. And the more they're able to help more people, that's right. The more personal satisfaction that it gives them.
Number 2, Never take no for an answer.
Never take no for an answer. I didn't take no for an answer. I never will take no for an answer. And for me, there's no such word as can't. One of the very first things that one should do is always to ask God first. To ask God where He wants you to be. What He has planned for your destiny. And I believe that if you do that, against all odds, no matter what may be thrown at you, you will still be standing the way I'm standing today.
Number 3, get yourself geared up.
My education, as far as going to school every day is concerned, ended up with my diploma in the secretarial course. And I carried on wanting to improve myself.
Okay.
Especially when I came into the oil industry.
Right.
Because I was a totally new level.
Right.
And you need to get yourself geared up for something you're getting yourself into. Otherwise, you'll fall flat on your face. Information is knowledge. Knowledge is important. And it is wealth. You cannot really succeed in life without getting education and without getting information, without getting yourself ready to face the world. And you're going to be in boardrooms
Right.
in this business. So you better be able to say the right things, using the right language,
Right.
so that it won't seem as if, okay, she's a pretty face, but what's she doing here?
Right.
You gonna...
Number 4, be focused.
One of the ways was by being determined to succeed and to excel in whatever it is that I decide to do. One of the ways was to be focused. And I had decided on what I wanted to do, and that was to be a businesswoman. And I intended to do a good job of it. I knew that the best way to go was not by paid employment to be able to get into business. So I moved out of paid employment.
Number 5, you will have to make sacrifices.
You will have to make huge sacrifices. On many occasions, you'll have to make sacrifices. Show me a man or a woman that has succeeded, and I will show you someone who has sacrificed either time, money, comfort, sleep, or even food to get to where they are. They fasted. Jesus fasted 40 days and 40 nights to launch into his ministry. He also paid the ultimate price, that ultimate sacrifice, to receive the glory that was before him. Mandela spent 27 years in jail before he became the first black president of South Africa. Samuel Ajayi Crowther sacrificed many years of labor in the Anglican Church before he became the first black bishop of the Anglican Church in West Africa, and eventually had a university named after him. It took Fanfa Oil 15 years to reach first oil, and it took me 25 years from my initial interaction with the oil industry to get to where I am today.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Unless you want average in America, married, 2.4 kids with 1.5 dogs. But I can guarantee you, you will never achieve anything greater than your highest aspiration. If you want $1 million, you'll make $1 million, not $1.5 million. If you want 10 million, 100 million, and you'll never exceed that. If you change 1 billion lives, That's a formula to become a billionaire and change the world. Time costs lives. Show me your friends and I show you your future. You want to know why you're all f***ed up? Just look at the bums you hang around with. I do what you don't want to do, that you know that you got to do to be where you want to be. Ted Turner just gave his 75th anniversary party on CNN a few months ago. And he makes a couple of comments and he says, number one, and I'm not suggesting this for everybody, it's how I lived though. First 10 years of my starting CNN, I slept on my couch. I didn't have an apartment. Bill Gates slept in the office. Steve Jobs slept in the office. And I can go down a whole list. Now these are super successful, mega wealthy guys. I slept in my office. Not everybody's willing to make that sacrifice. But it's not the only thing. But even if you don't sleep in your office, if you want to send your kids to a better school, if you want to be able to take care of your mother when she gets dementia, if you want to, this all takes money. My children aren't getting any of my money when I die. Not one centavo, not one penny. And two of my kids are cool with it. One of them's not so cool with it. I'm not gonna, I think Andrew Carnegie, by the way, Andrew Carnegie, arguably the richest, most successful entrepreneur of all time, he said the best thing that you can have for a child is him to be born into poverty. And I agree. Lack of self-esteem, lack of self-worth. Now they think they have self-worth. They think because they've made a few bucks. But in actuality, and when they measure it against the other 8, 10, 12 people sitting around the table, they realize, or they start to question, hell, maybe I was just lucky. Now, all of us, when you're only a one-trick guy or gal, think, was I lucky? Now, I've done it so many times, I know I wasn't lucky. I might have been lucky the first time, but I haven't been lucky the 15, 20, 40, 50, I know that.
Okay.
But maybe I was lucky the first time. But my life changed when I was pretty much a haphazard kid, got in a lot of trouble, got arrested 4 or 5 times, thrown in jail, and this was with my dad as a cop. But then I volunteered for the draft in 1966 at the height of the Vietnam War, and I went to OCS, and that changed my life because it was the really first real high performance thing that I could measure myself against with other people. 2/3 of all Fortune 500 CEOs have one thing in common: military background.
Really?
2/3 of those 2/3 have something else: martial arts. What do you learn in martial arts, Brian? Discipline, focus. A lot of people don't believe they deserve to be there. I convince them, and we have these drills, why you belong there. A lot of people that come there, with money, that have made money, think they made it by accident.
Right.
I just had one of my superstars who's made $100 million tell me in the last week, I'm not sure I'm going to have another lucky accident. And I said, you did it. I mean, you tried a lot of things. I believe Thomas Edison, I wouldn't have done it 10,000 times.
Okay.
I would have hired an engineer from MIT to do it. But I mean, I've tried a lot of things. Nobody's failed at more things than I have. And the first 100 million are successes, but I could write a book about failures that'd be, because I've tried a lot of different things. Because failure is just testing. And one of the reasons I've been so successful in generating this equity and value in my kids, and I call you all kids, is because I convince them that making a mistake is okay. Your parents probably told you, you can be anything you want. But you can't. That's horseshit. You can't.
I'm going to take a moment to highlight David Stewart, man. The richest black man in America, a tech genius. Started his own company, Worldwide Technology. He worth $11.4 billion, bro.
We're back now with the Ford Culture, and today we're talking about David Stewart and how he borrowed $2,000 from his dad and ended up a $6 billion man. Now, for those who don't know, David Stewart was born in Chicago, Illinois. Stewart came from humble beginnings with 7 other siblings. Although he was born in Chicago, his family moved to his mother's hometown of Clinton, Missouri, where he was raised. There, they lived in a small home that did not include indoor plumbing or heating. The family had a small farm with cows, vegetables, and crops, and taking care of the land was a part of the Stewart family's daily responsibilities. Stewart was quoted as saying, "My jobs include emptying the chamber pots, shaking down the ash and pot-belly stove, and then spreading it on the driveway for traction, cleaning the barn, feeding the cows and pigs, milking the cow, and skimming the cream from the butter churn. Our chores seemed endless, but it was just the way we grew up, and it was all just a part of our lives." However, Stewart's father's work ethic gave him his first glimpse into entrepreneurship. Stewart was quoted as saying, "My father was the first entrepreneur I ever knew. He was an entrepreneur out of necessity. We probably would have qualified for welfare, but my father was proud, and he did what he had to do to support his wife and children. He was a master mechanic and should have been able to make good money working at a nearby power company, but they weren't hiring people of color. He and my mother were caring and committed to the next generation. Having 2 parents who understood their roles and their responsibilities, and then watching them work together to provide for their family, making them the best teachers in the world." End quote. Stewart's examples of hard work would pay off in great dividends. In the 1st grade, he was the first black person to attend Clinton's newly integrated elementary school. And by 1973, he would graduate from Central Missouri State University, becoming the first person in his family to earn a college degree. After college, Stewart moved to St. Louis, where his older sister lived, to begin his career. He served as a substitute teacher while applying for other full-time roles.
I was working at a financial firm in New York City with a bunch of very smart people, and I had a brilliant boss I much admired. I went to my boss and told him I was going to start a company selling books on the internet. He took me on a long walk in Central Park, listened carefully to me, and finally said, "That sounds like a really good idea, but it would be an even better idea for someone who didn't already have a good job. You can have a job, or you can have a career, or you can have a calling. And if you can somehow figure out how to have a calling, you have hit the jackpot, because that's the big deal."
I met Jeff Bezos 25 years ago. And he told me, "Dave, I want you to invest in my company. What are you doing?" "I'm gonna start a bookstore in my garage." "Okay, and I'm gonna put it online. People buy online, and I'm gonna ship out of my garage. But if you invest in me, Dave, someday I'm gonna be the richest man in the world. I'll do over $100 billion. First of all, there is no such thing as $100 billion 25 years ago. Statistically, there's no such thing. Countries didn't have 100. Our national debt wasn't $100 billion. And this dude's telling me at 26 years old that he's gonna be the richest man in the world because he has a garage and the internet? That was his truth. No, but he did not know it, and neither did I. But the difference between him and I is I was laughing, scoffing, and jesting at him, and he was already applauding himself, going, at the right way, at the perfect time, I'm gonna make as much as I can as quickly. And I'm sitting there going, there's no way this is gonna be a big business.
Do something you're very passionate about, and don't try to chase what is kind of the hot passion of the day. Seen in that light, it really was a difficult choice, but ultimately, I decided I had to give it a shot. I didn't think I'd regret trying and failing, and I suspected I would always be haunted by a decision to not try at all. After much consideration, I took the less safe path to follow my passion, and I'm proud of that choice. As a young boy, I had been a garage inventor. I'd invented an automatic gate closer out of cement-filled tires, a solar cooker that didn't work very well out of an umbrella and aluminum foil, baking pan alarms to entrap my siblings. I'd always wanted to be an inventor, and she wanted me to follow my passion. There's a military phrase that I especially love, and it says, "Slow is smooth and smooth is fast." And I have seen that in every endeavor I've ever been in, that's the kind of thing that really allows you to make progress. You know, you get certain gifts in life and you want to take advantage of those, but I guess my advice on adversity and success would be to be proud not of your gifts, but of your hard work and your choices. So, you know, you may be, the kinds of gifts you get, like, you know, you might be really good at math. It might be really easy for you. That's a kind of gift. But practicing that math and taking it to the next step, that could be very challenging and hard and take a lot of sweat. That's a choice. You can't really be proud of your gifts because they were given to you. You can be grateful for them and thankful for them. But your choices, you choose to work hard.